I had decided that if I wasn't married or in a relationship by the time I was 40, I was going to have kids on my own. When I was 39, I figured there wasn't gonna be a relationship, so I started the process. I went to my general practitioner and asked her for recommendations here in Israel. 40 is a little bit old to be doing it, although there are a lot of 40 years olds and older wanting to have kids, getting to a certain age and not having a partner and wanting to have kids. Lots of younger people, as I saw with myself, don't think about it. When you're young, you can always freeze your eggs. As the younger your eggs are, the easier it is. But it was just when I reached 39 that it made the difference. I decided that if I'm ever going to do it, I better get on with it. Yes, the clock was ticking, but you never really think about that until it's getting late. I decided to choose my sperm donor through the hospital as opposed to going to a private sperm bank. The profiles are very limited here in Israel. The profiles, or at least the information that you're given about the sperm donors, is very limited. They don't show you photos of the men. Based on what I thought I'd like, I chose someone, and then it's a matter of being available or not, because they also limit the number of women who can use the same donor. It didn't matter to me whether the donor was Jewish or not, although he is Jewish, and the child was going to be Jewish for sure anyway through me. When the time comes, my children can always do a DNA test to prevent the possibility of incest or mamzerut. My son is my first child, and 4 years later, I use the same sperm donor for the twin girls. If asked, they say they don't have an Abba, and they go to a school that's very open with lots of different kinds of families, where there are 2 Imas, 2 Abbas. Every so often, they ask, do they have an Abba? Will they have an Abba? And my answer is, I wanted them so much that it couldn't wait for an Abba to come. I see in my girls' class, there are a few different sorts of couples. Some kids that have 2 mommies, and now the mommies are in new relationships, so they can have 3 or 4 mommies. I didn't consider halachic issues. No, not at all. I had everything done on the kuppah. It's pretty amazing. I know that for lots of people outside of Israel, it's not so easy because it's a very expensive process. And even through the kuppah, it is an expensive process because not all the medications are covered and you have to try different hormones, and some are more expensive than others. With a kuppah, the way they do it is you first do IUI, which is in utero, and if that doesn't work after so many times, then they'll move to IVF. For me, both times it was IVF that worked. In Israel, you're not allowed to contact the sperm donor. To me, he's not a father, he's a sperm donor. He was never involved in the process. He was generous enough to do this, but maybe in retrospect, from his point of view, it was a foolish kind of thing because usually the sperm donors are young and short of money. You hear stories of men who've done it, and then years later, these kids have come out looking for them and saying, "You're my father," and he's now married and has his own family.